While I personally never received anything from deep web affiliated salesfolk, I did live with a roommate who would constantly receive the strangest brochures. At first we'd receive brochures for cruise lines and the like. I wrote it off as junk mail, but they came so frequently, and they started getting stranger. Christian mingle brochures, petting zoo brochures, brochures for any and all services one can think of. I kind of felt like someone was gaslighting me, but I never said anything, and the brochures would disappear as quickly as they came, so I didn't have time to stress it, until one day I walked in and my roommate was delicately cutting into a brochure and pulling out a small baggie of powder. Motherfucker had hooked up with the most low-key dealer I'd ever seen. Obviously a throwaway. This is from way back when Silk Road was still going strong. I was looking for a certain substance, but couldn't find it in my part of the world for a decent price. I posted my request on the forum, and after a few days someone messaged me with an offer. For some reason I accepted it and sent him around $200. Of course I got scammed. I didn't think much of it, but posted a warning to others about this guy, saying he scammed me out of $200. A few days later, I get a message in my inbox saying something like this. Hey, I'm a vendor, and this guy tried to scam me too. He just ordered an ounce of MDMA from me, and an ounce of sweet sugar crystals are on the way to his mailbox. Please send me your BTC address, and I will send you the $200 he scammed you out of. The next day, I had my $200 back and a deep respect for the dark web community. I'm an 18-year-old male. I've been using the deep web for a while, and I do understand computers. I use a VPN service, but I lost the use of it recently, and I kept going anyway. I use a remote desktop as well, and so if anything happens, there's no harm. I also use junk laptops. So this is how I even decided to go this deep. It came upon a link directory. It was literally only the words login, so I simply clicked it. The web page was Dark Animal Paradise. I was terrified. I just felt so pissed off at the thought of sick perverts coming together to share animal snuff. So with my VPN gone, I went to a topic to see if it was simply a honeypot or some scam from the FBI, and when I learnt it wasn't, it pushed me over the edge entirely. I told them how sick they were and that they should be in prison for what they were doing. I went back every day to see if it was shut down. One day, there was a reply to my comment. It simply said, "You will be sorry." The next day, my comment and his were erased. I panicked and turned off my laptop. A week or so later, a box arrived at my house. It claimed to be from Amazon, but it wasn't, because the box was packed with printer paper and an RHA black zipper case. And it had no return address and no information from where it was sent from, just my address, my name. I'm scared that it was hand-delivered. I opened it, and there's 2 USB ports. One with 2 gigs of data, and another with 16 gigs of data. So I inserted the 2 gig one, and it loaded with 2 files. System volume information, standard USB workings, and the other was labelled volume information. I know that isn't a typical folder to pop up, so I opened it, and what loaded was a folder that contained VeraCrypt, an application of sorts. I had no idea why this would be sent to me. I dragged the file to my desktop. The second USB had writing in marker on it saying it was infected with a virus. I went to my junk computer and loaded it up. Nothing bad, just a file called data. It seemed to be a text file. I opened it, and while it said it was too big and contained an enormous amount of data, looking further into this, I learned VeraCrypt is an encryption service and creates something known as a volume. I opened the program, and with about 2 hours of reading on what the service did, I hit select file. And I clicked the data text file it loaded, after I chose a dive letter. Does he mean a drive letter? I learned that it's a secret drive of sorts containing files, but it's password protected. What should I do? I've used the deep web a lot. It's my main browser and I'm confused, scared, and wondering who would send this to me. If there's anything I can do, please help. I don't think I can attach pictures on these posts, but if there's anything I can show you to prove I'm not lying, I will. I was just surfing the deep web. Okay, so I just made a bullshit account. I'm usually just a casual browser, but I was literally just browsing the hidden wiki. I clicked a link for leaked celebrity nudes, and if you go to the wiki right now, you'll probably see it. Less than 5 minutes of trying to figure out if I could get past the first page, and a private number calls my cell phone. I answered it, and it just played music like from a horror film. Needless to say, I shut off my router and PC, and I'm genuinely shitting my pants right now. Googling, trying to see if it's happened to anyone else, and if I should be worried, and of course, nothing. Anyone else ever had anything like this happen? Should I be worried? This is an article from Metro I stumbled across, and I just had to include it. 12 scary things which happen when you go on the deep web. Scare stories about the dark web are common, but what actually happens when you go off-piste into the parts of the internet Google doesn't reach? Number 1. The most disturbing site we found was a comprehensive guide for cooking women. We are not talking about a short joke here. This page had information on what body types to use for specific cuts, how to prepare these cuts, and how to cook the girl so she lives as long as possible. Number 2. Comic book, still in the plastic ceiling, perfectly legit, except the entire back page directly inside the cover was a sheet of LSD. Number 3. I was part of the No Love Deep Web alternative reality game when we had to do a deep net scavenger hunt, which culminated in me driving to New York to answer a payphone at 3 a.m. That was cool. Number 4. I downloaded Tor, and within 20 minutes of downloading it and browsing random shit, I got a phone call. But there was no one there, and they just hung up after 10 seconds. I didn't even know if it was legal at the time, so that was enough to freak me out, and I stopped right there. Number 5. There was a German man selling pretzels. Just pretzels. Number 6. Silk Road. About 2013. Purchased what was promised as a mind-blowing experience. Received a dustbuster 2 days later. Strangely, no complaints my end. Number 7. They said you could find anything you want on the deep web, but I was looking for Cher concert bootlegs and all I found were drugs. Number 8. I took photos for several vendors on Silk Road in exchange for samples. I looked for bad product photos and then I'd messaged them offering professional macro shots and logos. I was sent beautiful buds of great weed, a giant shard of crystal meth. Spent like 12 hours photographing that. Number 9. I found someone selling a wish pill online. Basically, you take the pill, make a wish, and it's supposed to come true. Number 10. Yeah, the hitmen are comically overpriced. You can get a cesario in Mexico for around $400 US. Number 11. I found a guy selling carrots. Like, it wasn't code for anything. He was literally just selling carrots for Bitcoin. 10 out of 10. Would visit again. Number 12. Found a template for counterfeiting Goosey products. Considered selling Goosey products. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave a like if you did, and subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, because why wouldn't you? And leave a comment if you want to, and I'll see you later soon.